Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are looking at the new cards for the next expansion of Hearthstone, the Savers of Uldum. We can now look at them in the card collection. So, last time I looked at all the neutral cards. We started at the end. If you want to see the new cards, you go into crafting mode, you click include uncraftable cards, and then you filter down to the new expansion that's coming, Uldum. So, yeah. Last time I looked at all the neutral cards, so we have a general idea of what the neutral cards are. It didn't seem like there was a lot being added as far as key phrases or strategies. There might be some new strategies being introduced to every hero specifically, and so we might start to see some more synergy here. But it also seems like that we are kind of just not going to have a lot of opportunities to see a lot of interesting stuff. Each hero probably only has the 10 cards that are being shown, maybe 14, 8 on the first page and then 2 on the second page. So we'll start with the Druid and then we'll break it up, and these will be much shorter than the neutral cards. It feels like a very smart move to start with neutral cards, because now we're going to have an idea, but also it means that the hour-long video of going through the neutral cards is behind me, and now it's just a mad rush through the potentially hour-long, 20 minutes. If it takes 20 minutes to do 9, that would be an hour and a half or so. Let's get to it though. So the first Druid card we have, all neutral cards were minions, so we're going to start seeing some spells, and the spells might add a lot of synergy to this. We have a 1-mana legendary quest card, which is technically a spell, called Untapped Potential. We saw one neutral card that would let you draw a card if you had a quest equipped. I figure either every hero will get a quest card in this expansion, or at least 3 will get a new quest card. It seems like in the past 2 expansions, at least 3 of the 9 heroes have gotten new quest cards. So they're sticking to quests and slightly supporting them. Although it would get a little weird if you had something like the Druid that had potentially more than 3 quest cards that you could play. Even potentially having 2 or 3 quest cards in your deck means on the first turn you will draw those 3 cards and play those. Have to play one of those 3 quest cards on that first turn, which could be dangerous. Unstoppable Potential is a quest. End 4 turns without any unspent mana. Reward Osirian Tear. This is another instance of we need a second card here called Osirian Tear to tell us what that is. I have no idea, so this might be great, this might not, might be terrible. I can say it's pretty easy to do this. It would be a lot harder to end 4 turns with all unspent mana, so play 4 turns in which you basically did nothing, but spending all your mana on the first, second, third turn and 4th turn is pretty easy. Next we have a 1-mana common spell called Worthy Expedition. Discover a choose 1 card. They're bringing back the choose 1 cards, although choose 1 cards aren't that great for Druid now, because the legendary minion that lets you do both effects of a choose 1 is in Wild and has been for a while. And we haven't seen a replacement to synergize with something like that. Although choose 1 cards in general aren't bad, because they are cards that give you 2 options, so they're effectively 2 cards in 1. Next we have a 2-mana, 1 attack, 4 health minion called the Crystal Merchant. If you have any unspent mana at the end of your turn, draw a card. This is interesting, but it works directly against the strategy here. Questionable as to why this card needed to be a Druid card instead of it just being a neutral card. Seems like you could easily have had a neutral card that did this effect and not really changed the gameplay balance, but maybe there's a reason that I'm not seeing. Next, you have a 3-mana spell called Bees. Although there's, how do you, I would put more E's in there. It's choose a minion, summon 4 1/1 bees that attack it. So yeah, bees. Although, why is this bees instead of locusts? Because if this expansion is supposed to be an Egyptian themed thing, why not scarabs? Why not locusts? Why bees? Feels like they're going for the not the bees Nicolas Cage meme here, and the art doesn't even really support that, and the theme doesn't really support it, so it's just a name. Bees right before C's. That's not even funny, really. Again, why not locusts? Why not scarabs? Next, we have a 4-mana, 2-attack, 3-health minion called the Garden Gnome. Battlecry: if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, summon 2/2 tree ants. This is probably a fine card for a tree ant deck, which haven't been too bad lately. They've been pretty successful. Next, we have a 5-mana, 3-attack, 5-health minion called the Anubis Defender. Again, Anubis Defender. Why bother to change the name? Why not just call it the Anubis Defender? It's clearly Anubis. So them getting cutesy with the names is ridiculous. Same is true with tree ants. It's Trents in every other sci-fi Tolkien-esque fantasy world, but they call them tree ants and spell it differently. Anyways, it has a taunt, cost 0 if you've cast a spell that costs 5 or more this turn. It's not terrible, but it's not a lot of health, attack or health, really. So, yeah, if you know on the 5th turn you're always going to cast a 5-mana spell, this is a card that you probably would want, but that's about the only time you would want that. Next, we have a 5-mana, 5-attack, 5-health legendary minion called Elise the Enlightened. Battlecry: if your deck has no duplicate, duplicate your hand. I think this is probably way overpowered as far as a card goes. Particularly on the Druid, where you can have 0-mana cards that I believe give you... well, you could always have the coin for the Druid, but I'm fairly certain there's some other ways that you could gain mana. So if you duplicated your hand, and in your hand you had something that cost 10 mana, and you had 3 coins, you play this on the 5th turn, and you might have enough mana to play something really powerful. Yeah, there's really untold consequences for this. This is insane. It breaks one of the core principles of the game, in that they have been limiting everybody to having only 1 legendary in their deck and only 2 of any other class of cards. So only 2 commons, only 2 rares, and only 2 epics. So this will be a legendary card when we do the 50 card pack opening, which I think I'll probably have enough enough gold for by the time the expansion happens. Suppose it is also worth mentioning, I still have not succeeded at one of the chapters of the last expansion single player experience. I never have time to really play it. I don't really care to play it. So there is definitely content I haven't finished, even on the normal level let alone all the heroic mode, super difficult single player experiences that I never bothered to finish on any expansion. I haven't even finished the normal mode of the last expansion, and we're about to get to this expansion to come out. So the expansions are coming too fast, frankly, and they're not impactful enough. Next, we have a 5 mana, 3 attack, 3 health elemental. It has Rush, and it's called Oasis Surger? Yeah, Surger. Oasis Surger. It has Rush and a choose one to gain +2/+2 or summon a copy of this minion. Again, if you have the legendary that does both, then that would be great, because then you'd have 2 5/5s on the field. That would be really good synergy. Next, we have a 6 mana spell called Hidden Oasis. Choose one, summon a 6/6 Ancient with Taunt, or restore 12 health. This is alright, but not great. And then we have a 7 mana spell called Overflow. Restore 5 health to all characters and draw 5 cards, which might work, but it's probably not that useful either. So we have this quest card for Druid that I'm unsure what the Usaran tier is, so I have no idea what it does. And then we have Elise the Enlightened, which seems like a crazy card. And then everything else is kind of just meh. It's alright, it's not great. Seeing these 10 cards and thinking about what we looked at in the neutral cards, it doesn't feel like there's a real synergy coming out for this too much. We didn't see any more mummies, we didn't see any scarabs or locusts or anything Egyptian themed, or just anything in general that would synergize. It seems like we're just getting another expansion so they can sell another expansion of generic cards, and I'm not particularly excited so far. So that's going to be it for this recording, and next time we'll look at the next hero. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.